wrapping up the primary charting elements with ATR. The average true range, or ATR, displays the average range of motion over the past X number of candles. This helps us understand the current market volatility, which can help ensure we implement appropriate buffers in our trades. There is a formula behind it, but much like the EMA, we don't need to learn it and the computer will do it for us. The number we are given can be used as an estimate of how far we can expect the next candle to move, whether that be above or below. To add the ATR to the charts, we'll once again go to indicators, we'll search for average true range and add it to there. Now I like my average true range, my ATR, to be up the top, and I'm going to change this also to match. This is going to be orange once again. I like that orange, make it a little bit thicker, and our input once again is a default of 14. Now I'll make this quite big so we can see it, and then I'll hide it out of the way. So I've rerun the markets so we can't see what's happening ahead, and we're going to draw in what the ATR is showing us. So I'm going to start with a solid line just to show that that is the close of this candle, and we currently have an ATR of 30.5 pips. So what this is telling us is that the next candle could possibly be a green candle going up to 30.5 pips, or it could be a red candle coming down 30.5 pips. So let's draw those in so we can see exactly what they're going to do. For this one, I am going to make this a dotted line just so we can see it's our possible area. And I'm going to take the value we have here, coordinates, copy that. I'm going to paste that into coordinates, and then we're going to add our ATR of 30.5 pips, or 0.00305. So if we add our 5, then we'll add our 3, we get 0.61131, and I'll also do the same below. So now we can see if we have a green candle, we could expect it to move up here. And if we were to have a red candle, we could expect it to come back down here. Now it's not always going to stay within those bounds, but it's just a nice little average for us to be able to estimate. So let's look at what happened on the next candle. We had a green candle and it sat within there. So that ATR was a very good calculation for that candle. Now let's move on. Let's look at another one. Let's do the same thing again. So let's take this figure. Let's paste it into this one. And what is our ATR? ATR is now 30.7 or 307. So let's add that to be a 9. And let's put that as a 3. Let's also paste into this one. And let's take away 307. There'll be 85 minus 3 would be 07. Once again, our next candle we could expect to go up to about here, or if it's to retrace, possibly to here. So let's move it again. And we can see this one actually blew over our ATR. This is a little bit bigger. So as I said, it's not a limit for each of them. It's an estimation of where it is. And in the grand scheme of things, it's still pretty close. So once again, let's move on and do one more. Let's do the close of this one. And this is a much higher ATR of 325. So let's take this and add 325 to it. So immediately 5, 2, and adding 3 would be 61791. And let's do the same here, but let's take away 325. So that would be 41. Taking away 3 would be 1, 61141. Okay. So we have our ATR range here. What happened in our next candle? We've got to pull back down. You can see it swung low, but it actually closed almost exactly on that point as well. So let's do one more just because we've got a red candle there. Okay, so now we have our ATR of the next candle. Let's look at what happened. Okay, that was a doji candle. You can see it's got almost no body. It's just wick there, but that stayed within. Our ATR has dropped a little bit, so that has dropped by 8 points. Okay, next candle. And we have a smaller drop down there as well. So you can see that ATR is working well there as creating buffers around our candles. Okay, so I imagine there are easier ways of looking at this. So let's go into technicals. Let's search ATR bands. And here we are, there's a whole lot. So I'm going to choose this one here, see what happens. That one defaults to 14. It's all the same things as we've got set on our ATR, so that's going to match up perfectly. And you can see here, we have that same band there. It's marked exactly the same actually from those. So you can see it's doing the same calculation. And it shows you that a lot of these candles are staying within these bands. It gives you the visual representation of what is actually happening and how the ATR is calculating buffers around, it's actually doing a pretty good job at 14 there. So that's a great visual way of seeing what we were doing manually calculating it there. Add the ATR to your charts, get familiar with what it does and what it's showing you, and then you can always tuck it away at the top of your screen like this because we'll be using it later in the course.